Hi, my name is Samantha Vella, and today I'm going to be presenting on the underrepresentation of LGBTQ plus minority groups in Disney. So, to begin with, although Disney has improved a lot over the years by including some LGBTQ plus individuals in films and television shows, there are still some groups that are underrepresented. As a matter of fact, I've noted that there is still an underrepresentation of transgenders from minority groups in Disney films. I think it's important to include transgenders from minority groups in Disney films because we mainly see white LGBTQ plus characters, and it's time for diversity. As a matter of fact, one article mentioned that although representations of gay characters are on the rise, these portrayals are almost exclusively white and male. Lesbian and gay people of color remain largely invisible on television. I believe this may be due to white people being seen as superior and Disney wanting to make it less controversial, therefore creating a white gay character. So, what is a transgender? One scholar mentioned that transgender is used to refer to people who move away from the gender they were assigned at birth. People who cross over trans the boundaries constructed by the culture to define and contain that gender. So why doesn't Disney include transgenders? One study actually found that some shows still show no transgender or gender non-conforming characters. I believe this is due to not wanting to risk losing audience members. Brown 2019 mentioned that Disney's family-friendly empire, the studio's efforts to nurture this image has meant shying away from anything that could be perceived as edgy or controversial, resulting in a dearth of characters who are identifiably LGBTQ. Not to mention that they don't want to risk losing money from all the movies they create. Furthermore, some parents don't want their kids to know what transgenders are and want them to have to explain it to their kids. Not to mention that some parents just don't want their kids to be familiar with them because they don't want their kids to find that normal. However, I think it's important for kids to be exposed to films with transgenders because they are part of the new norm. In other words, it's becoming more and more normal to see LGBTQ plus individuals, including transgenders, in today's generation. This will also help them be educated on these topics at an early age, as well as be able to learn the proper pronouns. So there are some shows that have included more of the LGBTQ plus community, but there still isn't enough. As a matter of fact, the first Disney movie to include an exclusively gay moment was 2017's Beauty and the Beast. Additionally, I've noticed that some movies would have LGBTQ plus characters, but they wouldn't be the protagonists. In other words, they would just be the side characters. For example, the show High School Musical, the musical, the series, was one of the first few shows that I've seen a gay couple playing some of the main characters. For that reason, I think it's important to have transgenders play the main characters because they deserve to be equally represented like other LGBTQ plus individuals. It's also important to note that in 2019, the studio released 19 films, but only 4 included any LGBTQ plus characters at all, and 0 passed GLAAD's test that requires queer characters to be tied to the plot. So these are actually some pictures of the examples I mentioned. So the picture on the left is Carlos and Sam from High School Musical, the musical, the series. And like I said, they're the first gay couple that I saw a Disney show have. And this show, you can actually find it on Disney Plus. And then the picture on the left is from Beauty and the Beast, 2017's Beauty and the Beast. And like I said, this was the first movie to show a gay moment because the guy on the right actually has a crush on Gaston, which is the guy on the left. So this next slide is basically saying where Disney is right now with inclusion of transgenders for minority groups. So they're barely casting their first transgender character. One article stated that the same studio that brought you much loved animated features like Toy Story, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and Cars is now casting for its first transgender character. According to Warren, 2021, the character Jess is a 14-year-old transgender girl, though not as red. She's compassionate and funny and always has your back. I really think this is a huge step forward just because, like I mentioned, Disney has created some movies with LGBTQ members, but they're all mainly with white male characters or just male characters in general. So the fact that they're doing a LGBTQ movie based on a 14-year-old transgender girl is such a huge like I said, a huge step forward, and I can't wait to continue seeing the progress Disney is going to continue making. And yeah, it's really exciting, and I can't wait. So, lastly, what can Disney do to make LGBTQ plus individuals feel included? So, one article actually mentioned that an employee at a Disney park stated that even material tokens of inclusion, like pins designed with the colors of the transgender or bisexual flags and the rest of this year's rainbow collection, can feel meaningful to fans. So, what I took from this is that Disney films should try incorporating more items like this into films/television shows to make transgenders and other LGBTQ plus individuals feel like they belong. So, an example could be like in the next Disney movies that they release, they can put just little clues, or not even clues, but um little small things that show that they respect and support LGBTQ plus communities. Like I know a bunch of Disney films incorporate little other Disney characters in their films, so they can do something similar, like create a transgender flag in a movie, or just anything that shows that they respect and support LGBTQ plus individuals. So that concludes my presentation, and this slide and the next slide are just my bibliography. And yes, the end. And I really hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. Bye. Have a good